Hello, welcome back to the season finale of our Nottingham Forest save. So it is now the end of the season, and as you can see, we are sat over in 10th place. To be fair, I think we've been like 9th, 10th for the most part of the season, so it's almost nothing new at this point. Much better than we're doing in real life, of course. We're sat down here, going over the fixtures to show you how everything's been since the last time we was together. We had Rotherham as our first game in the FA Cup 5th round. We managed to beat them by the skin of our teeth in extra time, and then we went on to go against Liverpool in the quarterfinals, and there was an absolute goal fest. We got battered 6-3. Took us a very long time to get a goal, like 66th minute, and I think they'd scored 4, so it was like 4-0 at one point. It was a joke, really. Back into the league because all the cups are finally done at this point. We had a little bit of a rough patch going up to that Liverpool game against Brentford and Everton. We managed to somehow beat Newcastle, which was good, a little bonus. And then we was coming up with some tough games again. We somehow lost to Bournemouth, which was a farce, to be honest. I don't know how we lost. We dominated the game. We then went against Chelsea, who have pretty much not been that great this season. Where did they end up finishing? They finished 15th. Imagine that. Zizou in charge. We lost to Liverpool. We managed to beat Southampton and Fulham. By the way, Southampton have actually done pretty well for themselves this season and finished 7th. I think they lost out like last day of the season or second to last game of the season. They lost out going into Europe, which Everton surprisingly took. And then to round off the end of the season, we had a big 4-3 game against Wolves. Awoniyi scoring a hat-trick, a late goal there as well to get that hat-trick, but it just wasn't to be for that day. We lost to Leicester, which is unfortunate being our local rivals. Then we finished the season against Tottenham and lost away 1-0. Just to give you an idea of how our players have been for the whole season, in terms of average rating, the top players for the season has been Awoniyi, Johnson, Lingard, Freuler and Henderson. You can see we've got some absolute big money transfer values over here with Nico Williams and Brennan Johnson. Mainly Nico Williams, like holy, look at the size of that transfer value. 52 to 65 million. I reckon if anyone came in for him, I think you could probably even push further, like 70, 75. Likewise with Brennan Johnson, you could probably get 50 million. And I know he's been wanted pretty much for the whole season. Now by Leicester and Norwich, but I think like Leverkusen has wanted him and some other foreign teams have also wanted him. And of course, after a pretty decent season, a lot of our players are going to be now wanted. Norwich seem to be wanting everyone. Aurier, I believe this was mentioned before, but if it hasn't, that's my bad. But he's already agreed to transfer to Celtic. It'll be a free end of his contract. We wasn't interested in keeping him at all. In terms of goals for the side, Awoniyi led the line, as he should do, being our main striker, with 25 goals. I could do with him doing that in real life, to be completely honest. Brennan Johnson also had a very good season with 14 goals, 7 assists. Lingard popped up with some goals, as well as Dennis, and that's pretty much where all our goals came from, really. In terms of key playmakers, Lingard was up the top with 8, Johnson on 7. Scarpa, who came in January, had 7 assists, so imagine if we had him the whole season, we might have scored a few more goals. Williams and Lodi both got some assists from the wing-back position, which was great. In terms of finances, because we came 10th, I think we got like 24 million, so that helped our balance because we started to go into the red, I think like 5 million or something. But if you haven't seen my video, which was yesterday, Saturday, big club management isn't really for me. I'm not a big fan of it unless I've built that club upwards and we've started off with a small staff and I kind of know everyone and have philosophies in place and all that kind of stuff. Big club management's just not for me. So this is why this series is going to be finished now. It's going to be like 1 year with Forest to see if we can basically do a better job than how it's going in real life and see whether the 22-man influx that we had over the summer can be managed better, which we proved it can through Football Manager, of course. For the remainder of the season, just because I've never shown you this is the kind of tactic that I was running. Pretty much a 4-2-3-1, and then we also had a cautious tactic with an anchor, and we'd basically swap like this. And main changes that we'd have in this team in the terms of lineup would be Lodi and Richards would swap out, and then we'd use Bolly as a rotational player, and then Yates would drop into the anchor spot when he's not being the box-to-box. And whether Gibbs White or Scarpa was playing as the centre mid creative player, they'd go Mazzala or they'd go attacking midfield support. And then that's pretty much how we lined up for the rest of the season. I'd like to call this a successful save for a 1 year save. I'm not sure whether I will start the TPS save as the game releases, or if I might give it a little bit of time, do a different save, and try and do kind of like a rebuild for a team which is not going to be like ridiculously hard, like someone like Division 2, Division 3, League 1 kind of standard, depending on the country we go to. Something which can take like 3 or 4 seasons to at least be like a top division side. But anyway, keep your eyes out to see what happens, and make sure to follow me on Twitter if you don't. There's a link down below. If you've enjoyed the series, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to keep up with anything that I will produce in the future. And as always, have a good one.